SNOT LEAGUE! SNOT LEAGUE! SNOT LEAGUE! SNOT LEAGUE!
I'm Henry Snotson, and you're watching Telesnot. Welcome to the savage kickoff of SNOT League Season 9. Today, I'm joined by a true pitch legend, Shawas von Wertbad, once Shawas McKyson, a dwarf brewer turned Blood Bowl coach. He led the Shambani Supremes to glory in Season 7 and ran Malachi's Madmen in Season 8. Welcome!
Hello, Henry! A pleasure to be back.
Taking a break this season, Shawas. What's got you sidelined from the carnage?
'Tis a long story. Me and my mates travelled to the Border Princes for a scrap. I led my old team from the Barrows to kick some arse. They did well enough, but you know, burying them back takes time, so I couldn't make it for this season.
Fair enough. The teams are already smashing skulls in their first matches. Let's see how they fared. Ready, Shawas?
Hardcore or not at all, Henry? Let's go!
So let's dive into the bloodbath. We kick off Season 9 with a proper one-sided thrashing. Correct Cracker Packers absolutely mauled the Ishan Moonflowers. What a great way to start a season!
Aye, the Packers really pack a punch. If the boys planted those fairies well enough, they might grow strong by Game 5. Ha!
Jokes aside, seems Nymphs completely disregards the fact that these dwarves can run. Eric Silvestre casually splattered a fairy and strolled off like it was nothing. First blood of the season, and plenty more to come. Moments later, Alma fumbled a hit on a dwarf, leaving Isha's ball carrier wide open for a pounding. Brutal stuff.
Brutal stuff indeed, but not surprising. An elf's place is in the ground.
The correct Cracker Packers were relentless, punishing every move, straight up wiping fairies off the pitch. I wonder if those nymphs have tooth fairies, because they'd be rolling in gold after that beating. Dwarves romped to a 4-0 win, racking up heaps of SPP. Think their next opponents are sweating yet?
The boys racked up a ton of experience, but it's still too early in the phase to count, I think.
Big guy Isha was no help either. Kept throwing tantrums, refusing actions, or losing one-on-one scraps. Meanwhile, the dwarves' speed let their runners chase down fairies and exploit every elf pass for extra moves. A masterclass in massacre. Right, let's shift gears. Next up, we've got another clash.
To sink our teeth into, what's cooking in the next match?
A simple tree-cutting competition gone wrong. Ha! Joseph Moranian and his new woodland beasts couldn't have dreamed up a better start. Carved up the seesaw splusions like a Sunday roast. What a show, Shawas!
Indeed! A pleasure to see Joseph leading another team with skill and savagery. Although, I did count on the undead trimming those dryads a bit.
Turns out, bringing 2 chainsaws against treemen ain't the brightest plan. Those Libara's lads learned it the hard way. Moranian's unicorn struck with surgical precision, hitting where it hurts and keeping the Khemri crew from finding their rhythm. The ref was all over Libara's like a bad rash, calling every little slip.
A well-paid-off ref is a happy ref, and I don't think Joseph needed a lot of convincing to buy this git.
Going back to those necrotechs, they really need a crash course in chainsaw maintenance. Kept jamming or backfiring. So far, Group A, been a string of one-sided stomping so far, eh, Shawas?
Aye, a strong start for half of the teams. But that's good. All the more pressure for the winners to keep winning and losers to get out of the group by all means necessary.
To be honest, Coach Smallar didn't switch much, from draconids to other mummified reptiles. Still got a thing for scales, eh, Shawas?
Reptiles are his business, it seems.
Something must have been wrong with that ball in this clash.
I wouldn't be surprised if the ball was blessed by the cult of Shalia with wrong sacred oils, as both teams fumbled it like crazy. First, the reptiles needed a 3-player committee to pick it up, and then the monks tumbled time and time again before finally crossing the touchdown line. And just before receiving the ball on the second half...
What the ball play didn't give us, the solid bashing made up for. The pitch turned red. Those monks took the presence of the undead personally, smacking them with hammers in a way that'd make Shalia blush. Hardly merciful.
Reptilian resilience came through. A lot of them regenerated from the wounds, but at the end of the day, the merciless servants of the goddess of mercy dominated the pitch, ending the game in a 2-0.
Aye, those maulers brought divine wrath, crushing the Sow Riders. Let's move to Group B for even more carnage, shall we? Next match, another massacre. Our League Undertaker's already rubbing his hands. The Gnomish ground force clashed with our Dwarfish Vikings in what started as a match, but turned into a full-blown battlefield brawl. Both sides traded vicious blows. Shawas, what did you make of that chaos?
I'm not gonna lie, Henry. I had enough of engineers for one lifetime, so I was rooting for the Norse dwarves. Or, as I tend to call them, short scales. And I was not disappointed.
Here's the rundown. One gnomish construct got scrambled signals, maybe a goblin saboteur at work, and made a move it really shouldn't have. Bum! That botched play cost him dearly, blew up in spectacular fashion. The gnomes, under pressure, started screaming over the radio for air support.
We need air support!
But our rules ban bombardments. All their gyrocopters could do was fly over with a banner saying, "You're doing great."
Real shame for that one. Probably some gyroscope malfunction or whatnot. Thankfully, it's still early in the phase, and the gnomes may get back from this fallback.
Despite heavy losses, the gnomes pulled off a stunner. Captain Simon bellowed, "Get to the chopper!" And the mechanical construct yeeted Sergeant Alexander Erigdorum over the dwarves' heads. That wild toss scored a touchdown, letting them bite back. Still, the Norse weren't phased, kept pummeling. I'm curious what the gnomes will do with that pile of scrap littering our pitch now, Shawas. Any guesses?
Hopefully something more reliable, like a coffin for the saboteur that caused this failure.
Right, let's move on. What's the next scrap we're diving into, Shawas?
A rum-fueled adventure of deadly dwarves and flying flings.
Ha! This one was a slaughter from the start! The Black Abyss Kraken crew ambushed the Win 23 farmers' village, and Captain Varkas took out their biggest threat right off the bat. What a way to set the tone!
Ha 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 ha! That's the pirate way! Hit first and hit hard! Oh, and hit drunk!
The pirates surged forward, but a tree man got cheeky, chucked a kamikaze farmer right at Varkas, knocking the ball loose and flattening an elven corsair. Those farmers tried to hold the line, but Dungan Dorgaz, that mad dwarf, went berserk, wiped out 4 halflings. That he was fuming they didn't share their moonshine.
Ha 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 ha! Dungan there must have had a lot of frustration pent up for everyone calling him short. Ha ha ha! Once he had the opportunity to pick on someone shorter, he overdid it to say the least.
The tree man wasn't done, kept hurling whatever halflings he could grab, either at the pirates or toward the end zone to claw back points. Win 23 briefly took the lead, but with their ranks thinned, they couldn't hold it. Pirates crushed him in the end. Thoughts on that tree man's tossing spree, Shawas?
Love seeing Tree Man using their full potential. Even when rooted, they did not stop catapulting those brave shorties at the enemy. And with more precision than usually, they've definitely been practicing. Can't wait to see more. But before we see more of the sheep herders, let's see more of the sheer horrors.
It's been ages since we had proper demons on the pitch. How'd you rate the Brawl Roar's debut, Shawas?
Excuse it! The madness, the chaos, the fun! Oh, I hope there were some inquisitors in the crowd, because Zinch definitely got some new fans after this match.
Watch your head in this match. The hobgoblins couldn't take down the lesser demons, so they ganged up on Spook. Poor Worm took a battering till his body gave out. Brutal! Without their bombardier, the demons started yeeting each other at the slavers. Every time the hobgoblins scored a touchdown, a demon would hurl a mate over their heads to equalize. By the end, it wasn't all rosy. The demons whipped up a hasty Zinch ritual, and shockingly, it worked, botching the hobgoblins' final pass for a 2-2 draw. Wild stuff, Shawas. What's your take?
Slavers played as all greenskin do, brutal and cunning. Textbook bash them down and kick them while they're on the ground. However, they were not ready for an adept of the father of mutation such as Benzebuth. His playstyle drove the hobgoblins so mad they were not able to pick up or catch the ball at all at the end. I definitely want to see more of the Brawl Roars and their craziness.
Group B's done. Let's head to Group C for even more bloodshed. Group C brought pure mayhem. Elven fans stormed the pitch, slashing at the Gnadwell Warpweed Rats. I must say that surprised me that there is any Elven fans.
Aye, sad to see, but what can you do?
The Cainite assassins were stabbing like lunatics, but those storm vermin armors held strong. The Elves' executioner botched it big time. His chainsaw, likely sabotaged, blew up in his hands, knocking him out of the game. Elves grabbed the lead, but their touchdown scorer got yeeted into the crowd, where Coach Horn joined the mob to pummel him to death. Savage.
Ha ha ha! Not going to lie. Love to see a coach so dedicated to hate. Or maybe it's his form of motivating his players.
The Rats fought a gritty war of attrition, clawing their way to a hard-earned draw. Those storm vermin just wouldn't break. How do you rate that bloody stalemate, Shawas?
Say what you want, but Horn definitely showed his coach skills, even though knife ears are not his favorites.
You knock.
You knock. I knocked the last time.
However, the Rats came out as much less harmed than the flimsy Elves. A well-earned draw, but losses of the Cainites players will be hard to replace.
Time for the next clash. Time for Charity's Blellowed Orcs Lasses and Expired Rats. Under a scorching sun, the savage Wogmen clashed with the Cheese Grinders, and that heat was roasting those Orc Lasses. Though their skimpy, sweat-soaked outfits, they look so...
Henry!
All right! The Orcs went hard on Warpclaw, making sure that big, rabid undead rat stayed planted face down in the turf. But those gorgeous tattoos and skimpy gear? No match for Skaven knives, sad to say.
Tattoos and no armor will only get you killed. Learned that the hard way when coaching the Slayers. Maybe if they were better fed, they could take on more kicks and punches.
Despite their efforts, the Rats snatched the ball. Only Filch's fumble saved the Wog from losing a touchdown. Second half kicked off with a fouling frenzy. Rats started slow, but soon locked into brutal close-quarters combat. One rat shanked poor Lagertha under the ribs, ending her far too young. Outrageous! How do you stomach that, Shawas?
Ha ha ha! Easily! Ha! A dead orc is a good orc, I say. Although, focus on dirty play tends to bite you in the arse sooner or later. We'll see if Rysides will continue this strategy throughout the phase.
The Orc Lasses hit back hard, wiping out heaps of rats and snagging a touchdown in the final seconds. But the Cheese Grinders had just enough time to level the score. I'm curious what their coach does next match without his line rats. Any bets?
Knowing any undead team, it'll take a night or two in the graveyard to get some fresh ones. But I must say, I'm impressed that both teams managed to get a point in. Never give up, I say.
A breath of fresh air against those filthy little grots to close out Group C. The Dirty Grotty Hijinks' nasty charge got shut down hard. But those GKS fresh air elementals couldn't catch a break to carry the ball to the line. By break, I mean one scrappy grot who somehow won 2 fights against an air elemental. Unreal, Shawas. What'd you make of that?
Was really rooting for the elementals, but all hope was gone like dust in the wind. Those little buggers were unrelenting.
I always wonder, how do you even kill an air elemental? Seems Adris and his trusty steed figured it out. Sent one puffing back to the ether. The result was a shocker. What tipped the scales in this one, Shawas?
Nuffle definitely smiled upon the grots and pissed at Mort's wins. The casualties also not looking good for the elementals' future prospects.
Those plucky grots turned the tide with sheer grit. Proof, size ain't everything on this pitch. That's the lot for this round, you bloodthirsty beasts. Any carnage you're itching to see in round 2, Shawas?
Aye, waiting really eagerly for the next Broros match. But the best killer? I think them Molder Rats are yet to show their full potential.
Word from our league gravedigger. He's sending a hearty cheer to all teams for keeping his business booming with bodies.
Ha! 9 matches and 7 dead players. One more round like this, and there'll be a whole undead team waiting. Bloody brilliant!
Oh, yes! There were many players that make a notable mark in this round. For example, Durgan from Black Kraken Crew, who actually have the biggest injure count. Do you spot any player worth highlighting?
I'd say Jacob Neal from the Cracker Packers. In a league knee-deep in blood, it's good to watch out for the madman actually playing the ball. Really curious on how many touchdowns will he finish the group phase.
Thank you, Shawas, for your present here. I hope we will meet again on the finals. Speaking of finals, who you want to see there?
Broros! and either the elementals or fling herbalists, although both will have to fight hard to get there.
That will be all, lads. Stay warm, stay bloody. Henry Snotson out.
SNOT LEAGUE!